Hi, today I'm going to cover three important questions you need to ask yourself if you're trying to overcome any habit or addiction. The first is, what triggers me to partake in this habit? For me, it was to cover up old emotions that I've never dealt with since childhood. I started drinking when I was in my teens, probably 13 or 14. And my home life was pretty tumultuous, and I couldn't wait to get out of there. And I had a lot of unprocessed feelings and thoughts, and I just wanted to get out of it. I just wanted to numb myself. And where I grew up, most of my friends, I think, felt pretty much the same because we started drinking at a really young age, and taking pills, and mostly drinking, but we were taking pills and stuff too back then. I never got addicted, but to the pain pills or anything back then. But I did make a big habit out of drinking. It was a continuous thing that we did. So for me, especially, that we start drinking in the evening. So the evening is a trigger for me because, it comes around to 5 or 6. And I think that's true with a lot of people. It comes around to 5 or 6 o'clock at night and you're like, hey, I'm used to having a buzz. I'm used to having fun. I'm used to hanging out. I'm used to releasing the stress that I've been under all day. And your body just starts kicking in, going like, yeah, come on, this is the time we chill out. This is the time we have fun and catch a buzz and forget about everything. And our bodies actually, if we don't give our bodies what we want, what it wants, then it starts acting up and kind of makes us start feeling anxious and starts making us feel kind of, just having strange sensations, maybe even pains and things throughout our body. And our mind starts, racing with thoughts that we don't want to think. And we're like, all right, then I'm just going to drink. I don't want to be thinking these thoughts. I don't want to feel this anxiety. I don't want to feel like this. So what do? You go back to drinking, you go back to the pills, you go back to whatever it is. If it's gambling for you, if it's pornography for you, if it's shopping on Amazon for you, any of that stuff. It's really all the same thing, and most of it's triggered from that same spot, that unresolved feelings and emotions that have been pent up and built up in us since childhood. The second is, what does this habit do for me in the short term? Well, for me, as soon as you have a couple drinks, you're relaxed. So it's a real good temporary fix to all those racing thoughts, to all those uncomfortable emotions, and it numbs you out. You know, you could sit in your house and watch television and have a few drinks and you feel pretty good about things. Or you could go out and meet some friends and have a few laughs and have a nice night. And sometimes those nice nights, as you know, don't always end up that way because the more we drink, we end up arguing with people we're actually friends with over stupid things. And that's a whole nother story for another time, but you know how that works. So yeah, in the short term, it seems like a great quick relief. Everything, the drinking, the pain pills, the porn, the, you know, it really doesn't matter what it is. But all those things give us relief. That's the short term. We feel better. What's the long term effects? Well, when we wake up the next day, we feel more anxious. Normally, we start beating ourselves up, depending on how much you did or what happened. You start questioning, like, why do I do this? Like, why do I keep doing this? I don't, it felt good for 4 hours last night, but now I feel kind of sad and, feel kind of shameful or guilty or just uncomfortable. Once again, I feel uncomfortable, and sometimes you feel tempted to even like, hey, if I had a quick drink, I'd feel better. I mean, if you don't do it, at least that thought pops in your head, the old hair of the dog thing. So, uh, yeah. And in the long term, when you get into, that kind of a cycle, you usually don't end up accomplishing the things that you have set in your life, the things that you thought, hey, when Someday, I'm going to do this. I want to change this. I want to move here. I want this job. I want to make this amount of money. Normally, those things don't happen because we're too busy distracting ourselves from those emotions. And then it drains our energy and we don't have that motivation. Yeah, you can still accomplish. There's alcoholics who've accomplished amazing things. So I'm not going to say that's always true. But I bet they aren't happy. There's a lot of alcoholics and drug addicts who accomplish amazing things and then kill themselves or lose their minds or something. I mean, it's Kurt Cobain, the guy from Pink Floyd, you know, just amazing creative people. And not just artists. There's other people who do that too. Business people do that. So there's no joy in it. It drags us down ultimately, and we can get away with it for a few years. And as it escalates, it does. That weight comes upon us, and we feel it, and we sense it. And our bodies are made to be in homeostasis. So when we put those chemicals in that give us a rush of dopamine or a rush of serotonin, our bodies have to regulate and pull us back to an equilibrium. And so it releases cortisol. When we come down off those drugs, it releases cortisol. Our bodies release that. And then that's a negative emotion. That's a bad vibe. That's anxiety. That's fear. That's worry. It's all that stuff. All the stuff we try to escape, it actually multiplies. The third question that's really important to ask yourself is what drives this underlying addiction or habit? For me, and I believe many people, when we're not raised to feel good about ourselves, when we're not taught to have self-esteem, when we're told that, what's wrong with you? You're never going to amount to anything. And you're raised with people who have already given up. You could see your parents, you can see they don't really believe their life's going anywhere. They don't really believe in hope or accomplishment. They just do what they have to do to get through what they got to go through. And they're not happy. And that makes us feel like, oh, well, I guess life isn't about having joy or peace or accomplishment. It's just about existing and, getting by the best you can. And it could be so much more than that. Sure, there's difficulties in life, but it doesn't have to be that bad. And the other thing is we feel like we're not enough. And when you feel like you're lacking and you're not enough, you always feel like you need to add something to yourself. I'm not enough. I can't talk to that girl. I can't go to this public event and be sober. I'm not enough. So I need to add some pain pills to lift me up, to make myself more sociable and not have anxiety. I need to drink. I need to drink. Plus everybody else is drinking. So I'm going to do that because I won't have social anxiety if I drink. I'll be able to be funny. I'll be able to approach people and talk about business and talk about life and talk about whatever and have more confidence because you feel like you on your own are not enough. I felt like that for years. And honestly, I still struggle with that on occasion, depending on circumstances. But I've overcome it to a large degree. But it's a tough thing. When you just, for years, I am 63 years old now. And I felt like that for most of my life. It's not easy just to flip the switch, but it is able to be done. And it doesn't have to take a long time. It's not like, hey, if you're old, give up because there's no point in it. That's not true. You can make massive changes in a matter of months, in a matter of a year, in a matter of days even. You can see yourself. You almost flip to a new timeline because you start changing your thoughts and you start changing your viewpoint on life. You could accomplish things because you actually start seeing yourself as like, I can do this. I believe I can do this. I know I can. I've done similar things before and accomplished it. So yeah, don't give up no matter how old you are. You know, I stopped taking pain pills when I was 57 years old. I am now 63 and I've been clean ever since. So you don't got to fall back into it. I want to feel like I'm not enough. I never want to feel like that because it's not the truth. It's a lie. It's a lie that was embedded in our subconscious when we were kids, when we were teenagers, and we can overcome that. It's not true. So that's my reason, is because when I don't feel like I'm enough, I need to add something to me. And what do I add? I don't know, something to numb my emotions, to quiet my mind, and to give me more peace and more courage and more confidence, you know, temporarily, because ultimately it's going to flip and it's going to take me the other way. But yeah, that's the answer to that question. So please leave us a comment or a question. Um, and subscribe to our channel. It'll really help us reach more people. My wife and I have really gone through a lot. She's in her 50s, I'm in my 60s, and I think we have a lot of good things that might help other people overcome some of their issues in life. So, thank you for listening. Have a great day.